The moment the chess clock slammed down echoed louder than the rain outside, and in that single sharp sound, two completely different lives collided in a quiet corner of the city. Everyone in the room felt it, even those who didn't understand chess, even those who didn't know that this match was never really about winning or losing, but about dignity, loneliness, pride, and a promise spoken half in jest and half in desperation by a woman who had everything, to a man who had almost nothing left. Before the story truly begins, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of human connection, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel for more heart-touching stories. And tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because stories like this connect hearts across the world. Ethan Carter had not touched a chessboard in years, not since life stopped being gentle with him. Once, he had been a promising analyst with a sharp mind and steady hands, the kind of man who planned life in clean lines and careful moves. Then came the accident that took his wife, followed by hospital bills, legal paperwork, and nights where sleep felt like a luxury he could no longer afford. By the time the dust settled, Ethan was no longer a rising professional. He was a single father surviving on contract work, school drop-offs, and silent prayers whispered while watching his 6-year-old daughter Lily sleep. Chess, once his refuge, became a reminder of a past where he still believed the world was fair. Sophia Langley lived on the opposite side of that world. She was the youngest CEO in her industry, known for turning failing companies into giants and boardrooms into battlegrounds she always won. Her life was measured in acquisitions, private jets, glass towers, and magazine covers that called her fearless, brilliant, and untouchable. What the headlines never mentioned was the emptiness of her penthouse at night, the way silence followed her everywhere, and how success, when achieved alone, can feel strangely hollow. Chess was her escape, not because she needed to win, but because it was one of the few places where her title meant nothing. They met at a charity chess exhibition organized by a luxury hotel, an event meant to look elegant and meaningful while mostly serving as a networking stage for the elite. Ethan was only there because a friend had convinced him that prize money could help with Lily's school fees. Sophia was there because her name guaranteed media coverage. No one expected the quiet man with worn shoes and tired eyes to sit across from the most powerful woman in the room. When the match was announced, there was a ripple of amused curiosity among the spectators. Sophia's confidence was effortless, her posture relaxed, her smile sharp with playful arrogance. Ethan looked like someone who had already accepted defeat long before the first move, not because he doubted his skill, but because life had taught him not to expect miracles. What happened next surprised everyone. The game unfolded fast, not reckless, but precise. Ethan played with the calm of someone who had learned patience through pain, each move carrying the weight of responsibility rather than ego. Sophia, intrigued, leaned forward, realizing this was no ordinary opponent. Midway through the game, something shifted in the air. The room grew quieter, the cameras forgot to flash, and two people who had lived their entire lives on opposite ends of fortune found themselves connected by 64 squares. Sophia felt something she hadn't felt in years, genuine excitement without strategy, without calculation. In a moment of bold impulse, fueled by confidence and a hint of loneliness she would never admit publicly, she made a playful promise tied to the outcome of the match, expecting it to distract him, maybe even shake him. But Ethan did not flinch. He did not smile. He did not speed up or slow down. He finished the game with a sequence so clean and decisive that even seasoned players in the audience stood in silent respect. When the final move landed, it wasn't triumph that crossed his face, but relief, as if he had just proven something to himself rather than to anyone else. The applause was thunderous, but Ethan barely heard it. His mind went straight to Lily, to groceries, to bills, to one small step away from drowning. Sophia stood up slowly, stunned not by the loss, but by the men who had beaten her without arrogance, without hunger for attention. For the first time in a long while, someone had looked at her not as a CEO, not as a prize, but as an equal across a board. What followed was not a fairy tale transformation overnight. There were awkward conversations, media rumors, and a public world eager to twist the story into scandal. Ethan struggled with the fear of being judged, of being seen as someone chasing status rather than survival. Sophia struggled with vulnerability, with letting someone see past the armor she had spent years building. Yet, slowly, something honest grew between them. She learned about Lily, about bedtime stories and scraped knees, about a man who measured success in laughter rather than numbers. He learned about pressure, about the loneliness at the top, about how strength sometimes hides deep exhaustion. Life did not suddenly become easy. Ethan still worked late nights, still worried constantly. Sophia still faced ruthless competition and expectations. But now, there were shared meals, quiet games of chess played without an audience, and moments where silence felt warm instead of heavy. Sophia used her influence not to rescue Ethan, but to open doors he could walk through on his own terms. Ethan gave Sophia something she had never bought or earned before: sincerity without agenda. Just before the ending of this story, take a moment to comment and tell us what part of this journey moved you the most, because your words might resonate with someone else who feels unseen today. In the end, it wasn't the promise that mattered, nor the spectacle of that single match. It was the realization that life, much like chess, is not about flashy moves but about resilience, patience, and the courage to keep playing even after devastating losses. Ethan didn't just win a game that night, he reclaimed a piece of himself he thought was gone forever. Sophia didn't just lose, she gained a truth no boardroom victory had ever given her. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness can appear in unexpected places and second chances often come disguised as ordinary moments, please like the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and stay connected with this channel. Sometimes, all it takes to change a life is one brave move, made at the right moment, on a quiet board, under a watchful clock.